Today we're talking about investing in assets and what my favorite assets are to invest in. Welcome to God Money, where we talk about business, investments, money, and God money. My name is Goose Sussi, and today this is going to be our fourth video of our little mini series. This is the last video of our little mini series. I will continue to keep producing videos and creating content, but as far as this little video series, this is going to be the last video. This one is going to be on assets to invest in. If you didn't already watch the previous 3 videos, please do so. If you're getting anything from these videos, please comment below, subscribe, let me know what you're getting from them. I am creating this kind of thing for you to share with you my experience, the troubles I went through, the hard times I went through. So hopefully you can avoid some of those mistakes. You probably won't be able to avoid all of them, and that's okay. You're learning. If you're not learning, it means you're not doing anything. It means you're not growing. So take these videos, watch them all the way through, take little nuggets that you can use in your life to get you closer to the goals that you have. I think we can all do a better job of continuing to learn from each other and to keep growing. Now, with that all said, let's get into the video. The first asset that I invested in was myself. From books, great books, not just any books, but great books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Good to Great, People Over Profit, Born to Create. These are all books that you're not gonna get in high school or in college. Just go to Amazon, research these books, find good books, talk to other successful people and figure out what books they're reading. It's very important to be self-educating yourself. And I say self-education, you're not really self-educating yourself. You're doing the research, you're looking for people that have already done what you're trying to do and just mimic them. Mimic the ones that you think have what you want, whether it's the lifestyle you want, the marriage you want, the fatherly figure that they are or the motherly figure that they are. It's okay to honor somebody that's already done it before you and to try to read the materials that they're reading, try to associate their programs into your life. So myself was the first asset that I actually invested in. And I spent hours and hours on watching motivational and educational videos on YouTube. All this stuff is free. I mean, you could literally YouTube what book you want and somebody's just gonna sit there and read it to you. Audible is a great app that I use all the time to be able to read books because I'm in my truck a lot for work. And that doesn't stop. Just keep investing in yourself. Try to get better every day. Don't beat yourself up. Give yourself a little bit of grace, but just try to become. One thing that I do is I try to figure out, how do I want 10-year-old Goose to look differently than where I am today? 10 years from now, what do I want to look back and say, wow, I've grown so much, but it was just little tiny growth inches along the way, right? The second thing I invested in, my wife and I did when we first got married, was we didn't right away buy a house. We were actually renting a house, but we bought when we were able to come up with the down payment, which was, we got an FHA loan, which you don't know what that is, just look it up. First time home buyer loan. FHA, I think that's what it is. And we had to come up with 3.5% down, a down payment, to buy our first home. We didn't buy a home, we bought a duplex. We could have bought a home, but we decided to buy a duplex because we were thinking of not our comfort and our luxurious levels at that moment. We were thinking, let's just punt leisure. Let's just keep doing this renting thing and this smaller apartment thing so that we can start building our wealth up. And we did that by not buying a home right off the get. We did it by buying a multifamily property. So with one transaction, we now own 2 properties because it's a duplex. You own 2 addresses. It was the best move that helped set us up for everything that we have today. Financially speaking, time-wise speaking, it's crazy how that 3.5% down, which I believe was like $6,000. $6,000 then has allowed us to accumulate and shuffle cards around and make other deals, take equity out of one property and buy another property. That has equated to about 1.5 million right now. And it's still growing. We're in escrow right now, about ready to close on another duplex. I think too often we try to rush into the luxuries of life as a new adult. I think we try to get to where our parents are or what we're seeing on Instagram, like stay in your lane, but don't settle. Stay in your lane and keep setting your goals. Keep going for your targets. Keep trying to get better. The next thing we did after we bought our duplex is we went back to our financial plan, which was continuing to tithe 10%, save to invest 20%, and live off 70%. Well, the tweak here, what we did was we upped our savings. So we still tithed our 10%. Now instead of saving to invest 20%, we extended that to 30%. So now we're saving to invest 30% of what we're making monthly. And at first it doesn't feel like you're doing anything or saving enough to make a difference, but it's just learning that discipline and being disciplined in that formula. That then starts to snowball later. So now we're living off of 60% of our income. And we're not like pinching pennies and not going out to dinner. We're just doing less of that stuff. Okay, you don't have to be a hermit and just hoard money. Like you just have to have a plan and know what you're doing. Because if you don't have a plan, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know where you're going, you don't know, it'd be like getting in your car and trying to get to, I live in Idaho, and trying to get to New York City and just not using any map, GPS or nothing, just heading east. I could probably eventually get there, but I get there a lot quicker if I had a plan, if I had a map on how to get there. With this 30% you're saving, you're just pushing it to the side, you're not touching it, you're not buying any luxurious items, you're not buying anything that you need or that you want. You're sticking to this plan until you can buy your next income producing property. So we bought that duplex, we were in it for 6 months. We were able to write a letter saying how we outgrew the duplex. By the way, we were renting one side out and living in the other, in the duplex. That's how we were able to buy it with an FHA loan as our primary residence. You can do this up to 4 units. So if I would have been thinking bigger, I would have bought a fourplex instead of a duplex, because it wouldn't have taken that much more money to have bought a fourplex at the time than a duplex. So when you're taking your 30%, saving to invest, you're just pushing it to the side until you have enough for your next move, okay? So Grant Cardone has this little saying he says, get money and then go broke. Save money and then go broke. And what he's talking about is save a good chunk of money and then take it all and dump it into your next investments. He's a huge believer in multifamily real estate and investments and in assets, because real estate pays you that month. It's not a stock where sometimes they pay you quarterly or annually. It's not up and down, it's not bonds. I love real estate as an investment wealth building strategy because it's a real thing. Think about this. You can go to your local bank and take out a loan to buy real estate, but you cannot go to that same bank and take out a loan to buy stock in that bank. Why is that? Stocks are such a great idea, and I'm not totally knocking stocks. I don't understand stocks enough, but my simple mind says this. Stocks to me is numbers on a screen that I can't really control. With real estate, I have more control. I can't control everything, but I have more control. I can control how much sweat equity I have in that thing. I can control when I buy it, when I sell it, how much I'm charging for rent, the type of renters I'm putting in. There's just a lot more control that I have with real estate. So what we did is we wrote that letter. 6 months after buying the duplex, we then bought our first home. So now we own 3 properties. We have the duplex, which is 2 addresses, and now our home that we bought. And we bought a home, we could have bought a lot more home, a lot nicer house. We bought a home that we knew had good bones, and we could go in and cosmetically flip this thing. We're like most Americans. We love the DIY channels. We love the fixer-uppers of the world. We love the flipper-flopper, all those like rehab shows. And I'm not a contractor. I didn't know how to do most of this stuff. I literally got on YouTube. I'd use Pinterest for ideas and then go on YouTube and learn how to do these things. And then I just start tearing stuff up. My wife and I, we would tag team this thing, and what happens, it's this magical thing called appreciation. So when we bought our duplex, we bought it for $177,000. But we didn't spend $177,000, we spent $6,000. That's what I love about real estate, is real estate dollars is 1 to 4 or 5. So if you're gonna put 20% down, you technically have $5. So $1 equals $5 in real estate. Does that make sense? $1 equals 5. If I have $10,000, I can buy $50,000 worth of real estate. If I have $100,000, I can buy $500,000 worth of real estate because it's a down payment. You're not coming up with the full amount because you're getting a loan on it. And I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, debt's bad. Debt's not bad. This is where Dave Ramsey is great at getting you out of debt, if that's the goal. If your goal is to become wealthy and your goal is to build wealth, then you need to use debt. You're gonna get there a lot quicker than saving. Nobody saves to the point until they're a millionaire. You need to invest. You need your money working for you. And there's a lot of safer ways, low risk ways to do that. And we have found that real estate has been that special tool. So going back to the duplex, we bought the duplex for $177,000, which we only put $6,000 down. We then buy our home 6 months later with I think it was $6,000 or $7,000 down again, because that house was $168,000. So we now just bought another piece of property. We now have $168,000 worth of real estate for $7,000 or $8,000. I forgot what the down payment was on that, but I think it was like 5% or something. Now we own 3 properties. What happened in the next 3 years is that duplex we bought for $177,000, we sold it 3 years later for $325,000. We took all that money, put it into a 1031 exchange, so I did not pay a dime of taxes, and bought another rental property, an income producing property. An asset, your home isn't an asset unless it's paying you. The most simplest way that I can explain what an asset versus liability is, an asset puts money in your pocket. A liability eats your pocket. So if you're having to pay out money, it's a liability. My home right now is appreciating like crazy, but it's technically a liability because I'm putting money into it. I treat it as it's a forced savings account. My mortgage I pay every month is a forced savings account. Does that make sense? So with that one move, selling the duplex, putting it in a 1031 exchange, not paying taxes on that money because I'm not touching that money, I'm just buying a like property that's going to produce income monthly. So we bought another duplex with that money that we were cash flowing about $200 to $300 at the first duplex. This next one, cash flows about $1,000 to $1,200 a month. So it was a great move, and all we didn't spend any real money. We just moved papers around. That's what's so crazy is real estate is more, once you get started, you start to realize how important leverage is with real estate. OPM, other people's money. It's amazing how many deals you can do. My goal wasn't to buy one home and die in it. And if that's yours, then great. But that wasn't my goal. My goal was to get as far away from zero as I possibly can. For however much the good Lord is willing to bless me with, as long as I'm a good steward and obedient and disciplined, I want everything that God has in store for me. I don't want anything that He doesn't. With our first home, that $168,000 home, we fixed it up, put about $8 to $9 grand into it. We sold it 2.5 years later for $260. What did we do? We took all that money. We didn't go buy brand new cars. We didn't go pay off credit card debt. We didn't do any of that. We took all that money and we threw it at the next deal, the next piece of real estate. So now we paid like $300 or $400 more a month in our mortgage, and we had a much nicer home that we could enjoy. It's just our core savings account, right? And now we're sitting on about $760,000 worth of equity because of the appreciation in our properties. Find assets that pay you. If you're going to do stocks, learn them. If you're going to do real estate, learn it. If you're going to do cryptocurrency, learn it. All that stuff is so far over my head. Real estate makes sense. I'm taking money. $1 gets me 5. That's a pretty good multiplication right there. I can buy an asset that I can go see, touch, feel. I have control over it. And it's going to pay me every single month. I do not have a Roth IRA. I do not have a 401k. I know I have more control and I can multiply my money better if I'm in control of it rather than giving that money over to a financial advisor or to a bank or to a stockbroker. I don't want to be 65 years old and then get to use my money that I've worked so hard for. And by the way, who says 65 needs to be your retirement age? Why don't you pick what your retirement age is? Truly look at real estate, understand it, and see how it can change your life. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please comment below. Let me know what you got. If you don't like real estate, that's totally fine. I'm creating these videos to share what I have done, not what sounds good, not what somebody else has said. It's real life that I have done. At 23 years old, I had $4 to my name. At 29, I became a millionaire. And I did this with tithing, with being disciplined, obedient, and using real estate to the full advantage. I have a really stinking great partner too. My wife, Kelsey, she's absolutely amazing. And she is totally on board with all these crazy ideas I have. And she really just blows life onto them and makes them happen. So that was another big crucial part, is finding a great partner that you want to actually build something with. Have a great stinking day. I hope to see you again soon. If you didn't check out the other videos, please do so. And we'll see you at the next